Welcome to continuing coverage of Home Court Advantage Week here on the ESPN family of networks. The students have started coming back for the next term and have started filing into the building for tonight's game as Jerry McNamara and Syracuse are here to take on Chris Quinn and the Irish tonight at the Joyce Center. Welcome to South Bend, Indiana, everybody, for tonight's Big East matchup between the 24th ranked Syracuse Orange, who have won 10 in a row, and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who have lost 2 in a row, both in conference, both on the road. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman and Len Elmore with you. We talk about a home court advantage. It hasn't been there for the Irish against the Orange, losing their last 4 games in this building to Syracuse. And Len, with Notre Dame 0-2 in the league, how big is tonight's game?
Well, a great man once said the best way to get out of a hole is not to dig yourself deeper. And 0-2 in conference, this is a must-win for Notre Dame. 3 out of the next 6 on the road. Louisville, Marquette, and West Virginia. Those are pretty tough teams and challenges to surmount. So Notre Dame, while they're at home, they've got to make some hay.
We showed you Jerry McNamara and Chris Quinn, 2 of the best point guards, not only in the Big East, Len, maybe in the country.
Well, you talk about Jerry McNamara. He's Mr. Orange basketball, streaky but dangerous from 3. He also leads the conference in assists and second in steals. And Chris Quinn is the Irish leader, taking charge of this team, 37 against Pitt. He's got great range, and he's about as real a competitor as you'll find in this conference.
Look at our starting lineups tonight. The junior class well represented for the Orange, and Eric Devendorf making his 11th start as a freshman in the backcourt alongside Jerry McNamara. One change for the Irish. Rob Kurz replaces freshman Luke Zeller as a starter here tonight for Notre Dame. It's the only scheduled regular season matchup between these two schools. They have met twice a year for the last 5 years, but just once this year. Jerry McNamara, now a senior, he has always played very well against the Irish, averaging almost 20 points per game in 6 career games against Notre Dame. And Chris Quinn with one of the more remarkable performances of the college basketball season, 37 points in that double overtime loss to Pittsburgh last week.
And Syracuse opens up in their patented 2-3 zone. Again, looking to cover the shooters, Quinn and Falls in particular. Got to get a hand in their face. And Notre Dame really has to move the ball, get a little inside action to get those shooters free.
Rob Kurz tries to bank it in. Look at Russell Carter sky for the rebound as it knocked out of bounds. But that's something Carter brings, Len, to an otherwise average team athletically. He's a great athlete.
He certainly is, and he's becoming more of a reliable scorer and rebounder. The last 3 games averaging about 13 points, and he will give you some spectacular plays and lift his team.
Now he tries to nail the 3, missed it. His slashing and offensive rebounding could be a key against that Syracuse zone here tonight. McNamara with a quick look to Roberts. The shovel pass to Demetrius Nichols, who is having a terrific year, averaging 15 points per game.
Yeah, Demetrius Nichols has really improved his 3-point capability as well as working in the mid-range. You know, he's one of those guys that certainly provides a complement to McNamara on the outside.
Now off the hands of Tarim Francis, and he is fouled. Francis has done very well against the Orange in his career, although Syracuse has dominated Notre Dame in recent years. They have won 7 of the last 8, and as mentioned off the top of the show, the last 4 here in South Bend. Most of them close games, but all ending in Syracuse wins. That foul on Watkins is first.
Yeah, Syracuse in those years had just a little bit more, be it Carmelo Anthony, Hakeem Warwick, and the combination of Warwick and McNamara.
Nice position inside. Kurz the miss. And the ball somehow got into the hands of Kurz and Francis over to Syracuse. Now Devendorf pulls up for 3, the assist to McNamara.
Syracuse very good in transition, off rebounds, off steals. They'll spread the floor on you and look for those 3s, knowing they got some guys that can go get it off the glass.
There's Colin Falls, and he is a terrific 3-point shooter, better than 40% in his career, and coming off a 26-point effort at DePaul on the weekend.
Syracuse will have to extend that zone as Falls gets heated up.
Devendorf, great drive, and the finish by Roberts. What a play by Devendorf.
Well, you wonder about freshmen sometimes, whether they can handle the pressure on the road, and Devendorf busting a 3 and then creating for somebody else. Here on the drive, just a nice dish. very calm, collected, drew the defender, and just laid it off on the baseline.
The foul on Kurz is first, and you make a good point. This is Syracuse. It's hard to believe this. Their first true road game of the season. 12 home games and 3 neutral site games. Jim Boeheim, they always schedule a lot of games up at Syracuse in the month of December. They played a couple of games in New York, and they did play in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania against Towson. Kind of a homecoming for McNamara, who's from nearby Scranton. But one advantage for Devendorf, Len, he played in the McDonald's All-American game, which was right here on this floor last year.
Well, again, that level of comfort is definitely showing right now.
Balls looks pretty comfortable, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and that's the good ball movement side to side. Actually skip pass through over the 2-3 zone to get the Falls. And Syracuse is going to have to get out to the ball handlers quicker, put a little pressure on the ball so they can't make that pass so easily. Falls
with a couple of threes. He is the offense so far for Notre Dame. Syracuse up a point early. Syracuse has won 10 in a row. Notre Dame has lost at Pittsburgh and at DePaul to begin Big East play. Devendorf misses the 3. Watkins the offensive rebound. And the hook will drop.
Well, Syracuse right now obviously doing an excellent job. Points in the paint, getting on the glass. And that's their strength, always has been.
Now they close out on Falls in a hurry. Roberts jumping out on him.
Drawing a little bit more attention right now after you bust a couple.
Mike Bray, as they worked against the zone in practice yesterday, wanted lots of movement. Kurz misses the left-handed layup, held ball, and will go over to Syracuse. He didn't want his players just to pass it around the perimeter. Mike Bray wanted them to cut and screen and move around to try to move that defense around.
Well, what they've succeeded in doing is extending the defense, and right there, plenty of room for Kurz at the sweet spot at that 2-3, right below the free throw line. He just couldn't finish.
The Irish into the NIT each of the last couple of years, despite finishing above 500 in Big East play. McNamara uses the screen, misses the 3, and the rebound to Notre Dame. The Irish and their fans would love to get back into the NCAA tournament, but Mike Bray says the only bracket I'm thinking about right now is getting to New York City. Remember, in the Big East there are now 16 teams, and only 12 of them get to go to the conference tournament.
And that's why this game is so important. If they lose tonight, the Irish are 0-3 in the Big East, and with games upcoming on the road at Marquette, West Virginia, Louisville, and they got Georgetown and Nova at home. You know, these are going to be some interesting challenges for Notre Dame and how they try to dig out of that hole.
Devendorf misses the layup. The rebound to Turin Francis, who is a little bit long on that 15-footer, but it runs down the miss.
And Dan, Notre Dame is getting the shots, the shots that you're supposed to take against this 2-3 zone. They just can't connect.
Devendorf commits the foul that will send us to our first timeout of the night. Syracuse up 3 on the road here at Notre Dame.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the all-new 2006 Buick Lucerne, Buick Beyond Precision, and Subway Restaurants. Subway, eat fresh.
We got a great tour of the campus last night. Saw the Golden Dome and everything else to see on campus from none other than Richard Digger Phelps.
I was going to ask you who your tour guide was.
He is a great tour guide. Gave us a nighttime tour of the campus here. A look at this league, the Big East. Not only 16 teams, not only a lot of teams, Len, but a lot of quality teams in this league.
Well, absolutely. And again, you talk about the upper echelon. That's where I think that the Big East and the ACC are pretty comparable there. And with 6 teams in, the most of any conference. And I think that those 3 teams, Villanova, Louisville, and West Virginia, are 3 of the teams that Notre Dame has to face upcoming. That's why this game is so important right now. A game that they feel might be winnable, and Syracuse is ranked.
And not in the rankings, but a quality team. Cincinnati is playing very well. Marquette beat Connecticut, so you know they're tough. DePaul has beaten Wake Forest. There are a ton of good teams in this league. McNamara from the corner misses the 3, and the Irish with a chance to push it a little bit.
And in transition, you want to get a good one so the zone doesn't set. Nice job there, ball movement.
Russell Carter again showing that athleticism, gives them a different dimension, and he brings them within 1.
And it all began with the push by Quinn to beat the zone down the floor. Syracuse never able to get set.
McNamara missed his 3 the last time down. He's 0 for 2 from beyond the arc tonight, and just not shooting the ball as well as he has in past years, although to be fair, he doesn't have as much help around him as he has had in past years. Guys like Hakeem Warwick, Carmelo Anthony, Josh Pace, Billy Edelman, those guys have a habit of getting you some open looks.
Oh, absolutely. Again, but you look at that tandem situation. McNamara's been able to play with some tremendous guys on that front line, and Demetrius Nichols, he gives you a little bit of that Hakeem Warwick look. You know, not quite as long, maybe a better outside shooter, and that time on that lob, that missed lob on the last possession, was a little bit reminiscent of what they did with Warwick.
They swing the ball to the open Carter, and he hits the three. And if the Orange keep closing on Quinn and Falls, Carter may get some open looks out there.
And that's what I said at the beginning of this game, that Carter is becoming a reliable third scorer for this team.
The Irish with their first lead of the night. Devendorf fouled on the drive, and he will go to the line.
Again, it's been good ball movement. Notre Dame's getting the shots, and it's off a little bit of penetration. You see the second pass catches the zone in rotation and gives Russell Carter plenty of time to line that shot up. And that's what you have to do. Once you get the zone moving, get the extra pass. These guys are rotating, trying to cover.
Freshman Luke Zeller checks into the game for Rob Kurz, who just picked up his second foul. Zeller, Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana and a McDonald's All-American, a freshman with the Irish. Into the game now for Syracuse, Arinze Onuaku, a 6'9" freshman out of Lanham, Maryland, a real physical player. And he will occupy the middle of that zone, except now they've gone man-to-man this time down the floor lane.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Syracuse will now start switching up a little bit.
McNamara, the pull-up three.
And again, in transition, Syracuse likes to get out there. When you have three-point shooters, it's so tough for the defenders who are left to defend the goal. They don't know whether to come out on the shooters or defend against the layup.
All 5 starters have now scored for Syracuse, and this call will go against the Irish.
There's the push by McNamara, and here the defender who's back. Quinn doesn't know, do I come out on McNamara, do I defend the goal? You leave McNamara alone pretty soon. He's going to drop 2, 3, 4 in a row.
Well, that three, Len, his 343rd career three-point basket. Zeller with a rebound in traffic. Roberts commits the foul for the Orange. I think, Len, from the moment he showed up on campus and he started every single game since he got to Syracuse, he's been a tremendous player.
Well, you look at the free throw percentage, three-point field goals made, and, of course, attempts. He was destined to do that. Came in here with great range, but even better, great confidence.
Turin Francis trying to get involved, and a block by Nichols. Loose ball to Zeller, too strong. Francis is fouled as the Irish are getting it done on the offensive glass right now.
Well, they're battling, no question about it. At least for this period of time, this possession, they were indeed the Fighting Irish on the glass. Francis makes a strong move to the basket, a little off balance, so he didn't elevate and explode. But you got Zeller, Francis again.
The foul on Onuaku, his first. Francis to the line as Watkins will come back in for Onuaku. Francis has never been, Len, the most fluid of players, but as a fellow big guy yourself, what do you like about his game, what he's done here in South Bend over the years?
Well, I think it's been perseverance. I think his back injury has really limited his mobility over the years. And, you know, you have to face the fact that injuries are part of the game, and it's hurt his development, but he's stuck to it. You know, he's come back, he's worked himself to get in excellent shape, and he stays with it. Now, the thing is, he's got to continue to develop, particularly around the basket, to be able to take the contact, explode to the basket without losing balance, because when he loses balance, he loses elevation.
Declared for the NBA draft, went to the pre-draft camp, but then removed his name from consideration. Terrence Roberts with the 12-footer, and Syracuse now up 3.
Well, it's a good decision by him to do that, obviously. And, you know, here's an opportunity for him to work on his skills and demonstrate again that he's got the makings of a solid player in the NBA.
Kyle McElharney, a freshman from Staten Island, into the game now for the Irish, number 23. Spin move by Francis, and he drops it in.
He's got the touch around the basket, no question about it. Good footwork there. It's just a question of getting the reps and getting the confidence.
The floater by McNamara, back rim, rebound Roberts, dunks it right over Zeller.
Boy, Terrence Roberts, the most athletic player on this Orange basketball team. Had a double-double in the last game against South Florida, 11 points, 10 rebounds.
They track his dunks, Len. He's got 35 dunks on the season out of his 76 field goals. Zeller can shoot the three, and the freshman drains it to tie the game.
Well, it's funny. You mentioned to me that the coaching staff said that they were afraid of the big guys shooting the threes, and I looked at the attempts and I said, wait a second, they don't shoot them that often. But I guess when they do, they make them, huh?
And McNamara, he does shoot it often, and he makes his second three of the night, and both of these teams are on fire offensively here tonight.
Well, the impact of Zeller making that three really stretches the D, and it leaves the inside area open. Quick passes, quick entry passes. When you stretch that defense against the 2-3 zone, you've got some passing lanes. And if you can whip it down to the big guys, you can get dunks like that one.
Nicely run play. Francis on the assist from Falls. McNamara uses another screen, misses the three, and Francis comes down with another rebound. 8.5 minutes in, already 20-19. Zeller feeling it now. And the rebound to Roberts. Zeller 6'11", 240, but is comfortable on the perimeter as he is on the inside, and now he just blocked McNamara's drive. And they're chanting Luke's name here. No look pass to Francis, and the Irish lead.
Well, relying on the freshman for big plays. And Zeller has come in and really given a spark to the Irish. Hitting a three, block shots. They've led to some transition baskets.
Devendorf's three rattles out. Offensive rebound, Watkins. Somehow that didn't stay down for him, but Syracuse has it again, only to have Quinn come up with it. Well, we've got the makings of a good one here tonight, Len.
Certainly, especially if both teams are running the floor in rhythm. They got so many guys capable of scoring. Nice pass. You got to go up strong, big fella.
Francis looked like he was surprised to get the pass from McIlharney and never could make a play.
A big man in front of the rim, 2 feet in front of the rim with the ball in his hand should never be surprised.
Fourth turnover committed by Notre Dame. Roberts has hit one of these tonight, too strong here, and another rebound for Francis, who's having a big night on the glass. That's 7 already. Long stretch between whistles here tonight. McIlharney, Francis, Quinn for three. Zeller has it. And Quinn the layup to put Notre Dame up by 3. Block out is what Jim Boeheim is yelling at his big men right now. And he's going to take one of them out of the game. He's just sent Matt Gorman to the scorer's table. Devendorf gets by a couple. Has it knocked away. Watkins. And Zeller is fouled. Watkins fouled him from behind. So the Irish on a roll right now. Luke Zeller's giving them a spark. They're up by 3. All year long, ESPN and ESPN2 will present a great moment from every single Division I university. Out of the break, a chance to see tonight's version of ESPNU's Pride of the Program. Notre Dame up 3 on Syracuse midway through the first half here in South Bend. Time now for ESPNU's Pride of the Program. And tonight in the spotlight, it's Hampton. After Tarvis Williams' jumper put the Pirates ahead with just 6.9 seconds to go, Iowa State's Jamal Tinsley drove the length of the floor but missed. And 15-seed Hampton had the shocker, giving coach Steve Murfeld and the Pirates a brief but thrilling ride in Cinderella's carriage. And more of ESPNU's Pride of the Program features are available on mobile ESPN. One of the great shots from the tournament, Steve Murfeld getting carried by one of his players after that upset of Iowa State. Here tonight, Notre Dame leading by 3. Leonard, we were talking during the break. Right now, the Irish look like they've got a little more bounce, a little bit hungrier maybe earlier than Syracuse.
Well, when you talk about what's at stake, you look at the run there, 9-3. What's at stake here for the Irish? They know that they don't want to go into this next 6 games against Villanova, West Virginia, and Louisville, among others, and be down 0-3. And so I'm sure Mike Bray mentioned that to them at some point before this game, and they recognize that this is a must for them.
Freshman Kyle McIlharney with a 3 for the Irish. Demetrius Nichols answers for Syracuse. 26-23, 11 minutes in. Rick Cornett is into the game now for the Irish, a senior wearing number 11. Matt Gorman, as we mentioned, has come into the game for Syracuse. He replaced Terrence Roberts. Cornett follows up his zone miss, but here comes Louis McCroskey, a starter the first 5 games, now coming off the bench, replaced by Devendorf in the starting lineup. McNamara has his 3rd 3 of the night, and we're tied again.
And what's got to be concerning to Mike Bray is that McNamara came off that screen wide open. No one stepped up, no one stepped out. And you just can't do that against Jerry McNamara.
Syracuse in the zone for all but a couple of possessions here tonight. Quinn tries to turn the corner, runs right into Watkins, and stepped out of bounds.
Chris Quinn looked like a pinball bouncing off of defenders. Look at Mac right there. There's the gamble mistake, and whoever was guarding the screener should have stepped up. You got to contest McNamara on those shots. It's not that he's a great 3-point shooter. He's a streaky one, but if he gets on one of those streaks, it's lights out.
Nichols, he misses the 3. Gorman with a rebound. Going back up strong, missed it. And it's out of bounds to Notre Dame.
Syracuse continues to battle on the boards. They just don't have anyone out there who's capable of finishing. You look at the points in the paint. Obviously, Notre Dame has the advantage, but Syracuse has had an awful lot of opportunities, but they're unable to finish point-blank range.
You got to respect Zeller up there. He can shoot the 3. He's already hit 1 tonight. He's given them a spark off the bench. Now we'll look inside. Cornett the save. The extra pass to a wide open Colin Falls, and it rattles out for him. The rebound to Watkins.
Boy, don't you like Falls' quick release? I mean, he barely got that in his hands before it was back up.
Averaging better than 12 points per game. Strong drive by Nichols, showing he's just not a perimeter guy, and he will go to the line, drawing the foul. Got a good one going here in South Bend, tied at 26 between the Orange and the Irish. Well, Notre Dame trying to get back to the glory days. They made 6 consecutive Sweet 16 starting in 1974, a season in which they also ended UCLA's 88-game winning streak. You talk about your home court advantage. The Irish were down 9 with less than 3 minutes to go to number 1 and unbeaten UCLA. But baskets by John Shoemate, Gary Brokaw, and then Dwight Clay with the one that gave him the win. The lob for Bill Walton missed the turnaround, and the Irish ranked 2nd in the country at the time under head coach Digger Phelps, winning 71-70 and ending UCLA's 88-game winning streak. And here in the house tonight, now scouting for the Phoenix Suns, John Shoemate himself, who apparently had some good battles against you in high school.
Yeah, John and I played in a lot of the high school tournaments. He's Elizabeth, New Jersey's finest. And, you know, was a terrific pro. Had his career cut short a little bit by some health problems, but a great guy and a terrific scout for the Phoenix Suns.
Had a chance to visit with him a little bit last night, and he and Coach Phelps were reminiscing about that game in 1974, and how nobody thought they could beat UCLA, how unbeatable UCLA appeared to be, although they wouldn't go on to win the national championship that year, eventually losing to a team I know that you have memories of, David Thompson and North Carolina State.
Yeah, I have memories of UCLA. We lost to them by 1 in Pauley Pavilion, which, you know, it's a tough place to beat them, and probably had the opportunity to beat them, but I think we also showed some of their vulnerability, and of course Notre Dame comes along, they get them here.
Yep.
Lucky Devils.
Nothing like home court advantage, right?
That's right. And by the way, now that we've shown that clip, Digger, you can go to bed now.
It'll be Syracuse ball after the Notre Dame turnover. The Orange are on an 8-0 run right now and leading by 2. Notre Dame had a habit, especially under Digger, of knocking off number 1s. We show you 4 of them. Digger told us last night they did it 7 times, and they used to play home and home with UCLA every year. Notre Dame at that point was not affiliated with any conference, and they would play anybody and everybody, anywhere, anytime. McNamara kicks it to the corner off the fingertips of Nichols, out of bounds. First Syracuse turnover of the game.
Well, you know, Digger was a big-time, big-game coach, and, you know, his motivation capabilities was tremendous. All of his guys, the guys that I know, they're friends of mine, would say that. So you know, hats off to what Digger's been able to accomplish at Notre Dame. We all know that.
Mike Bray now in his 6th year as the head coach. In the previous 5, 3 NCAAs, 2 NITs, 1 Sweet 16. That was the best year for the Irish under Mike Bray. Francis misses the turnaround. Of course, Jim Boeheim, long three by McNamara. McNamara, the last link to Jim Boeheim's national championship 3 years ago.
And that's what I said. If you let him get started, he will beat you from everywhere on the court beyond that arc.
He's got a dozen on 4 threes. It's an 11-0 run for the Orange right now.
And he's going to come off screens quickly. He's learned to be able to penetrate when they step up on him.
Leading the Big East in assists. McCroskey missed that shot. Otherwise, McNamara would have had another assist. Nichols just committed a foul for Syracuse. We are here on the campus of the University of Notre Dame, part of Home Court Advantage Week. We're at the Joyce Center in South Bend, where the Irish are taking on the 24th ranked Syracuse Orange, who have won 10 in a row and have won 4 in a row in this building. It's been a game of spurts. Both teams playing pretty well offensively, although right now the Irish have gone cold the last couple of minutes.
And you know what? Syracuse should be ahead even by more. Notre Dame with 7 turnovers. Syracuse has not been able to convert off of any of those 7 turnovers.
Well, there's what
lost opportunity.
Colin Falls with another 3. Over 80% of his career baskets are threes. Nichols, though, with the answer at the other end.
What's puzzling me is that both teams coming out in zone, and they packed it in instead of extending the zone. I guess they're daring guys to shoot the 3. And I guess it's okay. If they hit one, we can hit one.
Francis, a relatively quiet first half, kicks it back out. Nichols, by the way, now with 10.
Like a little game of 3-point chicken. You hit one, I hit one.
Well, the two teams have combined to hit 13 of 25. How about going inside and the layup for Kurz?
Well, McElharney made that one again with the penetration. Dribbling with your head up, drawing the defenders off penetration. You'll find guys.
Devendorf penetrates. Roberts can't handle the pass. Momentum swings back toward the Irish. And a hard foul will send Kurz to the line. Earl Watson with the call. He could have had one of a couple of players. I believe he has given it to Nichols.
Now watch McElharney right here. Gets the ball outside, penetrates, but his head is up. He sees the defender step up and then finds his man. All too often, guys are driving the basket, head down, shoulder down, trying to bust through the defense instead of keeping their heads up and locating the defense.
The foul on Nichols, his second. And Kurz makes the free throw. An energy guy off the bench, good rebounder. And again, back into the starting lineup tonight after starting the first 4 games of the season. Had been coming off the bench until tonight. Earned the start with some good work against DePaul on the weekend. Josh Wright now in at the point for Syracuse. McNamara moves to the 2 guard. Right back a few days ago from a foot injury, but still playing limited minutes. McNamara wide open. Not this time. Rebound Roberts, though.
That time McNamara drew 2 defenders out of that zone to come and contest. And that's what you have to do. You got tall guys, Colin Falls out there, and they'll contest them.
Boy, Nichols is becoming as big of a problem as McNamara is. He's got 13. Falls banks one in at the other end.
And again, you marvel at the quick release. He's ready to shoot before the ball gets to him. He's got his feet set. And as soon as it touches his hand, doesn't stay long.
Glenn, Syracuse 8 for 16 from 3-point range. Notre Dame 7 for 12. Now Josh Wright will try his luck from outside. And the foul will go against Falls of Notre Dame.
Everybody gets a chance.
So we will step aside at the under 4 timeout. A shootout here in South Bend. The Orange lead the Irish by 1. All right, fellas, thanks very much. Hubert Davis knew a thing or two about filling it up. Pretty good score in his day at North Carolina. Offensive game here tonight. Syracuse up a point on Notre Dame. The Irish shooting particularly well, and maybe, Len, that's because they're getting such good looks. 13 baskets for Notre Dame, 13 assists.
And that's all about ball movement and movement without the ball. When Syracuse goes zone, the ball movement in and out and side to side forces the zone to move, and you get open looks. And when they go man, you know, explore inside out, make hard cuts, and move the ball, you're going to get baskets. On the other end, Demetrius Nichols, big man who can shoot over the zone, and then you got Devendorf capable of penetrating. with good size as well.
Devendorf voted by the Big East coaches as the preseason Rookie of the Year in the conference and living up to those expectations.
Well, he certainly is. And again, he plays with a great deal of confidence.
Yep.
Looks like he's been here for a while.
Falls a deep three, not this time, and a long rebound run down by Nichols. Devendorf helping out McNamara with some of the ball handling duties.
He's got to be careful. It looks like he's getting that hand under the ball, that palm.
I agree. I thought that on the last drive too, but they haven't called it here tonight. Did it twice on that little move. Nichols feeling it. And the rebound to Francis. Very quiet here in this building here tonight. A lot of the students still haven't returned from Christmas break. Another nice feed from Quinn inside to Kurz.
Well, Kurz is running the floor right now, and he's being guarded by Darryl Watkins. And if Watkins is going to rebound underneath, his teammates have to help him a little bit.
Roberts may be too open for his own good. Thought about the shot before he took it.
And it kind of fell back a little bit. Take a look at Quinn looking down the floor. He sees Kurz running the floor and Watkins trailing him. And nobody in an orange shirt helps out.
And give Quinn a lot of credit. He's their big scorer, but he's not forcing it tonight. He's only got 2 points, but he's already got 5 assists.
Well, that's a competitor. You want to win, you do what it takes, even if it means sacrifice.
Francis moving right in on Watkins. Too strong off the glass. Kurz draws the foul. Both Kurz and Zeller have given them good work at that front court spot.
And I think there's a tendency sometimes when you got guys like Kurz and Zeller who are hustlers, who are guys that aren't going to exactly wow you in a one-on-one situation. There's a tendency for the big guys on Syracuse to kind of underestimate those guys. They feel they can go and block shots, take more risks. But when you have guys who persist, they're going to wind up hurting you if you don't pay attention to them.
Kurz playing sparingly as a freshman, getting a lot more minutes this year. Now potential trouble for the Orange. That foul on Demetrius Nichols, his 3rd. He will sit down, and Andy Routens, a freshman from Syracuse, checks into the game. And if the name is familiar, as Nichols is frustrated that he's going to have to sit out. Andy's dad, Leo, a member of the All-Century team at Syracuse, played there back in the early 80s.
Yeah, I actually got a chance to see Andy Routens play in high school. He played in a tournament up at Siena College with a bunch of other guys. And my son's high school team was part of that. And he's a tremendous shooter. He's got great potential.
Like that guy, McNamara, a tremendous shooter as he nails another 3, his 5th of the night.
Well, McNamara may be trying to pick up the slack lost by Nichols taking the bench. Nichols have been pretty hot from beyond the arc as well. In his 6'8" frame, he's able to shoot over the Notre Dame zone.
Yeah, now McNamara commits the foul on the driving Russell Carter. Jim Boeheim wasn't sure about that call. McNamara starting every single game since he showed up as a freshman and playing in his career length 37, 38 minutes per night. And as you said, like we see in Devendorf now as a freshman, the moment McNamara stepped onto campus, it looked like he'd been there for years. Never seemed nervous or out of place.
Right. There's some situations where you know you just belong there, that you are destined to be there. And I think that's Syracuse and McNamara. And he stayed all 4 years. And I think that every Orange fan has to appreciate the fact that, you know, he stuck it out through the good times and some of the not so good times. This is his 116th start, the current longest consecutive starts in the nation.
McNamara on the drive and the follow by Watkins.
That's a better finish. Syracuse has had their chances on the offensive glass, but just weren't very successful in finishing. But that's a good start for Darryl Watkins. Those are the kinds of plays that get him started. Excellent shot blocker, pretty good around the basket. That'll get him hopped up a little bit.
Quinn the kick to Carter. Again, he's open in the corner, misses the 3. And the rebound comes down to the Orange. A minute to go in a high-scoring first half here at Notre Dame. The Irish 0-2 in a Big East play, losing at Pittsburgh, at DePaul. Syracuse is 1-0. Their win at home by 6 over South Florida, which has played very tough against both Syracuse and West Virginia so far. No easy marks in this league. Devendorf on the drive. Scoops it up and in.
Well, you got to like the angles. Double clutch. Again, Devendorf got a little of that city game in him.
Yes, he does. Devendorf now with 8 in the first half. And a timeout called. If you don't use all of your 30s, you'll lose one going into the second half. So Mike Bray will set something up for the final possession of the first half. Syracuse up 5 on Notre Dame here on the campus of the University of Notre Dame. Don't forget another great game coming up later on tonight over on ESPN. Maryland is at Duke to take on the top-ranked Duke Blue Devils as home court advantage week continues. A part of ACC Wednesday presented by Staples. As Len Elmore and many others well know, Maryland knocked off Duke at Cameron last year. You won't want to miss that one later on tonight.
First place I'm going when I get out of here is finding the television.
I knew that. Final possession of the half to the Irish. And a steal by Routens. They've got 3 seconds. Routens from about 65 feet away. And the first half will come to a close. Jerry McNamara on fire. 5 first half threes, offsetting the 4 from Colin Falls of the Irish. And the Orange take a 5-point lead to the break here in South Bend. Come on back and join us for the second half. But first, back to the studio for the halftime report. Here are David Amber and Hubert Davis.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Boneless Wings at KFC's new flavor station. Be the boss. Choose your sauce at KFC. And Staples. That was easy.
Home court advantage week continues here on ESPN and ESPN2. Notre Dame, though, down 5 to Syracuse. Len, both teams executing very well offensively in the first half.
Well, they certainly are, and it's been the open 3. That one not so open, but nevertheless, Syracuse able to put it down. And it's been the ball movement of Notre Dame against the zone and man-to-man put up by Syracuse. But Jerry McNamara down the stretch. 7-1 run is how Syracuse ended that first half, and McNamara playing a role. As you mentioned during the break, it's just Jerry being Jerry.
Both teams shot 3s better than 2s in the first half. And again, what's at stake here tonight, especially for the Irish, they are 0-2 in the Big East play. Have not started the Big East 0-3 since their first year in the league 10 years ago, back in 95 and 96. Francis misses the layup, and the loose ball run down by Nichols, who starts the second half with 3 fouls. We'll keep an eye on that.
And that last miss by Francis, again, is an example of him getting a little bit knocked off his pins, and when he goes up, he's not able to elevate. Didn't even get the ball up higher than the rim.
Nichols now on the drive, the kick to Roberts, and the rebound occurs.
Good thought right there, and Roberts, as athletic as he is, has got to elevate more.
Now Francis one-on-one with Watkins, goes right at the shot blocker. Can't finish. It won't stay down for him. And the rebound to Roberts. Syracuse looking like they're going to let Francis go one-on-one. They don't want to double him and leave a 3-point shooter open. McNamara on the drive off the fingertips of Roberts, and it will stay with Syracuse, or maybe one of the officials is going to overrule here, and I think they are. Doug Shows will overrule Jim Burr and give the ball to Notre Dame.
Well, you take a look at the stats right here. Both teams shooting lights out from beyond the arc. 8 Notre Dame turnovers, and Syracuse unable to capitalize on those turnovers. 0 points off turnovers for Syracuse.
Falls wide open look, but he misses the 3. Had 4 of them in the first half. Carter comes up with a loose ball and lays it in.
Carter, the only white shirt that hung around. Everyone else conceded the rebound. And sometimes you hang around that basket, good things will happen.
Devendorf being defended by Falls out on the perimeter. 18-foot jump shot. And the rebound to Francis as he keeps it in bounds. Francis with 9 rebounds. Kurz again beating the Syracuse big men down the floor, but he misses another layup. McNamara blocked from behind by Falls, but he gets it back. Splits the double team, but travels. And he's not sure about that. Earl Walton with the call.
I'm kind of not sure either. Looked like he split that double very nicely. Here he goes right here. Splits the double.
1-2 and up.
No. That looked like a good play to me.
Well, maybe a break for the Irish. They've got the ball down 3 early in the second half. Big East game here at the Joyce Center in Notre Dame. One of 4 Big East games on the schedule tonight, including Rutgers apparently giving Villanova all they can handle. Kurz with a drive, and he is fouled by Terrence Roberts. The combination of Rob Kurz and Luke Zeller combined for 11 points and 7 rebounds at the power forward spot in the first half.
And again, it's the good ball movement. Quinn in the short corner didn't have the shot, and then mid-shot had the presence of mind to dip it off to Kurz, who went to the basket strong. And that's what you have to do. When you're receiving the ball as a big guy going to the basket off of penetration, you've got to be able to go up strong and at least get the ball up to the rim. I think Turin Francis has had a little difficulty doing that, but certainly Kurz and Zeller have not.
1 of 2 from the line for Kurz. The Orange up a pair. Notre Dame generally a very good free throw shooting team, considerably better than Syracuse has been so far this year. McNamara, good position inside by Watkins, and he is fouled by Quinn.
And also good recognition by Jerry McNamara. First half, he was coming off screens wide open, getting plenty of daylight. This time, the Irish paying more attention off the screen, stepping out. And McNamara would just draw the defender and find the cutter, the roller. Take a look at him coming off the screen right there, finds Francis coming out to help. And his man rolls down and gets the ball inside and draws the foul.
Watkins, just a 47% free throw shooter, misses the first. McNamara's assists are way up from the previous 3 years of his career. He's at 6.6 per game on the season, leading the Big East.
Well, I think what he's realized, obviously, is that it's not all about shooting a three. He is a playmaker. He knows that he's got to take some of these guys, Nichols, Roberts, and he can make them better by delivering the ball where they can help. And, of course, McNamara gets a lot of attention out on the perimeter. He draws and he kicks.
Irish exploring the perimeter of that zone. Now inside to Francis.
Nice move.
And blocked from behind by Watkins. Carter somehow got it off his hip and up on the glass, and it rolls in to tie the game.
Well, Russell Carter is everywhere. We talk about him being a reliable third scorer for the Irish, but he's just hustling out there. He's got a nose for the ball, and he's been very fortunate last couple of possessions.
Carter up to 10 on the night, and again, the confidence of Devendorf handling the basketball and penetrating, that time pulling up for the mid-range jumper.
Talked about Devendorf last 3 games coming into this and averaged about 13 points a game, 14 of 25 from the field, so you know he's got the confidence.
Quinn, the floater from the baseline, just his second field goal of the night. Remember, he's their leading scorer at better than 16 per game. Had 37 last week against Pittsburgh. His first field goal since midway through the first half. Rebound Kurz. The Irish can take the lead.
But as you mentioned, he draws an awful lot of attention, and he's making other guys better, taking the D and finding people just like that. Very smooth.
Watkins commits the foul. Francis will go to the line. That is 3 on Watkins. So 2 Syracuse players now playing with 3 fouls.
Well, when you have Chris Quinn bearing down on you in an open floor situation, puts a lot of pressure on that back line. And there Watkins just did not see where Francis was. Couldn't follow the ball until it was too late.
And Len Quinn, a senior, his first 3 years obviously played alongside Chris Thomas, who had the basketball in his hands a lot, took a lot of shots, and was also a great player. But with Thomas gone and more responsibility falling on Quinn, I think people around the country are now seeing how great a player he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's played in the shadow of Chris Thomas, but you got to say he's learned from him. Chris Thomas was a pretty good assist man himself.
Thomas, by the way, now playing professionally in Italy. A 1-point lead for Notre Dame. Watkins is on the bench now with 3 fouls. McCroskey has come in for the Orange. Offensive rebound, Roberts. Wide open 3. McNamara. He's got 6 of them tonight.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, tell your boys to get the ball and we'll try again.
Francis just backs down Roberts and scores over him. Roberts not as big as Watkins is. Watkins on the bench with 3 fouls.
And Roberts also not as good an interior defender.
Nice feed for McNamara to Nichols. Out of bounds to the Orange as we step aside. Jerry McNamara doing everything he can to deliver a road win for the Orange. 6 threes on the night. We're tied at 51. Back here at Notre Dame inside the Joyce Center, an entertaining game tonight. Tied at 51 between Syracuse and Notre Dame. Dan Shulman and Len Elmore back with you. We talked about the Star Watch off the top of the show, Jerry McNamara and Chris Quinn. Let's revisit that matchup.
Well, Jerry McNamara has given his team what they need. He's given them that outside scoring, spreading the floor, forcing Notre Dame's defense to extend. And Chris Quinn, on the other hand, you know, he's not scoring as much. Obviously, he's the leading scorer for Notre Dame, but he's also giving his team what they need. He knows he's getting a lot of attention. He's distributing the ball nicely. And we talk about the assists, almost 1 assist per field goal for Notre Dame. And Chris Quinn leads in the assists.
Notre Dame had an assist on each of their 14 first-half baskets, now 16 of 18 overall in the game. Nichols, a big scorer tonight for the Orange, puts the ball on the floor, gets inside. Scoop doesn't go. Rebound, Devendorf. McCroskey lost the handle.
One bounce too many for Louis McCroskey. Could have just put it up there from 3 feet.
Rawls thought about it. Zeller will do more than that. The Irish take the lead.
And boy, the look on Terrence Roberts' face when Zeller hits that 3. Even though they're in a 2-3 zone, he kind of shook his head in resignation. You know, what do you do when you got a 6'11" guy busting threes?
Zeller is 2 for 3 from three-point range tonight and about 40% on the season. McCroskey with a nice drive to bring the Orange back within 1.
Nice makeup drive there by McCroskey. Didn't get it done the first time he touched it. Second time, even more aggressive. Took it straight to the basket.
He has lost his starting job to Devendorf, but has played exceedingly well off the bench the last 3 games, getting a lot of minutes. McNamara again misses the 3. McCroskey battling for it, but McElharney comes up with a rebound for the Irish. McElharney did not play particularly well against Pittsburgh or DePaul after having a great December, but having a better night here tonight in conference. McElharney open for 3. Zeller with a weak side rebound right over Nichols, but then he threw it away.
And again, Zeller not blocked out at all. You got to find a 6'11" guy.
The trailer, McCroskey on the feed from Devendorf, and McCroskey for the back-to-back field goals. This is the way a lot of the Syracuse Notre Dame games have gone in recent years. Very close throughout. Syracuse has won those 7 of the last 8 as the Irish turn it over again. Devendorf this time going all the way, and the foul committed by Francis.
Well, Eric Devendorf out of Oak Hill Academy in Virginia, and prior to that from Bay City, Michigan. He's a tough guy. He will go in there, take the hits. We've seen him over and over again. Dribble into traffic. Not only score, but also find people. And he is quite an addition to that starting lineup. He's fearless, and he's got some skill to go with it.
Really putting the pressure on that Irish defense as he knocks down the first. Roberts will go out. There's Watkins coming back in. Remember, he's got 3 fouls, as does Nichols. Both of them in the game right now. That foul on Francis of Notre Dame is second. Remember, this is Syracuse's first true road game of the season. First game on an opponent's floor. But remember, they start a senior and 3 juniors and a freshman in Devendorf who doesn't seem afraid of anything. So it doesn't seem to have bothered them at all here tonight.
And this is a little bit different Irish crowd. The students aren't in school yet, so you got many of the local faithful with a ticket. And they're not as enthusiastic as the students might be. But, you know, when they find their spots, hopefully they'll get in the game and provide that home court advantage.
The tie-up will turn it over to Syracuse. Notre Dame has lost just once at home this year. 7-1 for Mike Bray on this court. The only home court loss to Michigan, a Notre Dame team that the last couple of years has had some very big wins, but then they've stumbled at inopportune moments, costing themselves NCAA bids. Coming up later on tonight, in fact immediately after us here on ESPN2, home court advantage continues. One of the great places in America to see a game, Gallagher-Iba Arena, as Oklahoma State hosts Texas A&M. And then we'll take you to the pit for the 3rd game tonight as the Lobos host TCU. McNamara is at it again, his 7th 3 and the largest lead of the night for Syracuse.
And again, frustrating Mike Bray. McNamara with a wide open look.
Quinn another assist. Francis the jam. And if that foul is on Nichols, it is his 4th, and it is on Demetrius Nichols. Maybe a turning point here in this game as he picks up number 4.
And I talked about Tyrin Francis all evening, the fact that sometimes he'll get knocked off his pins, that time unimpeded, except for the little ticky-tack foul right there, which you just can't. There's no need to contest that. He's already got the dunk. No need to get yourself in foul trouble.
The Orange lose a score as Nichols sits down. The assist for Quinn was his 7th of the night. And Francis at the line trying to complete the three-point play and bring the Irish within 3.
And Demetrius Nichols has to understand, as important as he is to this team, that you can't give away silly fouls.
Devendorf stumbled, lost his balance, and fell into the lane before Francis took the free throw, so Francis will get another shot at it.
And I also talked about Tyrin Francis. I mentioned before about his lack of elevation when he gets bumped. But if he gets a step to the basket and he goes strong, he can do exactly what we saw.
And it makes good on that second opportunity. A three-point game. Jim Boeheim still working over Earl Walton, one of the officials, about that foul call on Demetrius Nichols.
It may have been a close foul, but you don't even get that close.
McCroskey the rebound on the Devendorf miss. McNamara the floater, no. Watkins rips it right out of the hands of Kurz and draws the foul. Great effort by Darryl Watkins. Francis is called for the foul. It'll be his third.
Neither team doing a good job of blocking out. You got a lot of guys coming from the free throw line from in the angles. Right there, actually, Watkins is in front of everyone as McNamara gets all the attention from the defenders. And that's the good thing to do. When you know your teammate is going to shoot, get to the front of the rim or the weak side glass and command that territory, because the odds are in your favor of getting the offensive rebound.
This junior class of Watkins and Roberts and Nichols and McCroskey, as freshmen, they didn't play a whole lot. As sophomores, a lot more was expected of them, even though there was still Warwick and Pace and Forth. But this year, with Akeem Warwick, Josh Pace, Craig Forth gone, this junior class, it's Jerry McNamara, the freshman, Devendorf, and the juniors really this year for the Orange, getting the significant minutes.
Sometimes by default, you improve. You got no choice.
Getting a lot of ball movement by the Irish. Kurz has it swatted away by Watkins. Down to 7 now on the shot clock. Kurz inside again, going right at Watkins, who got him again and again. Kurz has his shot blocked 3 times in one possession. And then Kurz the foul at the other end. Roberts shaken up.
That was dangerous right there. You can't run under a guy, and I don't think Kurz did it on purpose. But on the alley-oop, that's why it's such a spectacular play, but also a dangerous play.
Number 3 on Kurz. Roberts gets back up and limping will head off the floor. We'll take another look at it as we go to break. Roberts skying high, but coming back down to earth very hard. See if he's okay when we come back. A game in which neither team has led at any point by more than 6 points. Syracuse up 4 right now on Notre Dame as we check out our DirecTV game track. Jerry McNamara having a big night. 7 threes, 1 shy of his season high, 2 shy of his career high. Tyrin Francis already a double-double, his 28th career double-double. Notre Dame shooting the 3 very well, but not getting as many looks from out there as they did in the first half. They've only attempted 3 in the first 8 minutes and 10 seconds here of the second half. The free throw will drop for Terrence Roberts.
Well, the last several minutes, the story has been Darryl Watkins with his defense and rebounding, particularly the block shots on the other end. And it all started with him scoring. You know, getting an offensive putback and getting a chance to get to the line. He's got 4 blocks tonight, and again, that will change an awful lot of the penetration, the ability to get inside. Guys will think about it when they know Watkins is in the middle.
Long pass across the zone. Dangerous one made by Kurz, and then Carter's return feed picked off by McCroskey. McNamara again. And it's out of bounds to the Irish. Zeller will come in. Kurz will go out for Notre Dame.
And you know, when you're a shooter like Jerry McNamara, Jim Boeheim takes a look. He's probably questioning that shot a bit, but in an open floor situation, you take a look at the Notre Dame leaders, you want to be able to get an open look like that. And McNamara very confident now that Watkins and Roberts are good enough on the offensive glass to bail him out.
McNamara has taken 19 shots in this game, 14 of them threes. He's made 7 threes tonight. He's got 21 points in the game, and he's the high scorer.
You see him come off that screen. There's Falls. In the first half, McNamara's getting far too many easy looks.
Roberts on the feed from McNamara, and Syracuse now their largest lead of the game, up 7. And Mike Bray wants a timeout before this one slips away.
Yeah, he recognizes that his interior defense is really lacking, and that McNamara, everybody's honoring the three-point shot. But when you do that, he's got the ability to take it down and make other guys better. G-Mac, the leader of the Orange.
Here, Notre Dame, Dan Schulman, Len Elmore with you. The Orange stretching out their lead to 7, the biggest lead of the night for either team, and Jerry McNamara has been dominant at times here tonight.
Absolutely. You wouldn't think of anybody else leading this team, and he's been able to do a variety of shots, open looks, coming off screens. Once he was getting open looks, they started to play him and set screens for him to free him. And then you got to honor him on the perimeter. He puts it on the floor, and he's able to make his teammates better. And that's why Jerry McNamara has such value for this team. He's not just a three-point shooter. And you look over the years, his assists, except for a dip in 03-04, his assists have improved because he's recognized he's got to be more of a complete player and make his teammates better.
And when it's all said and done, assuming he stays healthy his senior season, Jerry McNamara will become just the 6th player in Syracuse history to score over 2,000 points in his career. Francis inside. Quinn steps in, misses the 17-footer, and the rebound to McCroskey. Quinn, again, just 4 points tonight, but has only taken 5 shots. He's been more of a playmaker than a scorer tonight.
And that shot did not look like Chris Quinn. Flat, looked a little bit off balance. He's got to get the mindset of a scorer now. I mean, he's been distributing the ball and making other guys better, but his team needs him to put the ball in the basket starting now.
Devendorf driving and getting fouled again. The foul committed by Colin Falls. Devendorf looks like, with his moves and his confidence, he can get inside anytime he wants to.
Well, he's got the size and he's got the handle. And now we know he's got the heart.
Now trying to shake McIlharney. Midway point of the second half. Syracuse winners of 10 in a row against Notre Dame, off to an 0-2 start in Big East play. McNamara. And the rebound comes down to Zeller. We've talked about the upcoming games for Notre Dame. Syracuse is beginning an incredibly difficult stretch of games here tonight, including tonight 4 of 5 on the road, and all against solid competition. So this is a big one for them as well.
Yeah, this would be a nice cushion.
After this game, Syracuse is at Cincinnati, home to UConn as part of Big Monday. Devendorf hitting along too. Then at Villanova and at Pittsburgh. What a stretch for the Orange.
That's right. You need a bit of a cushion in case you need a soft landing.
And another timeout taken by Mike Bray as Falls was in trouble down in the quarter. The Syracuse lead is up to 9 as the Irish have missed their last 9 shots. Len, there's the schedule we're talking about, as tough a stretch as you can have in arguably the toughest league in the country.
Well, you look at 3 consecutive games against ranked teams in the top 15 of the nation. So, you know, again, every opportunity you have and you get a team down like you have them now by 9, you got to keep them down.
Notre Dame with losses at Pittsburgh and at DePaul. The Pitt game in double overtime, the DePaul game by 6. After tonight, they host Providence, then go to Marquette. Remember, Marquette's already beaten UConn. Georgetown is a good team. Villanova's a great team. And then at West Virginia, nobody wants to play the Mountaineers. Mike Bray's team the last few years, Len, were paired up. People may know you play some teams twice in the Big East. A couple of teams you don't play at all. Most teams you play once. The last couple of years, Notre Dame was playing Syracuse, Connecticut, and Pittsburgh twice. They do have, relatively speaking, an easier schedule this year, as the likes of Villanova and Louisville, and in some cases Cincinnati, have been elevated to play some of the tougher competition at 2 times apiece.
And it's all about timing, though. You may play those teams once, but you want to play them at the right time, not when you're down 0-3.
Quinn's deep 3. Zeller comes up with a loose ball, and Watkins yet another blocked shot, his 5th of the night.
Darryl Watkins, we mentioned it before, may not be the prettiest offensive player, but he can change the course of a game with his defense and his rebounding.
McNamara using screens. Good step out there by Zeller, but now he's caught in a mismatch. McNamara, the lob inside for Watkins. Good patience, and he lays it in.
That'll show me. Talk about pretty. That's a nice move. The up fake and the power to the basket.
The Irish have missed 8 shots in a row, and Syracuse has roared out to a double-digit lead on an 18-3 run right now. Quinn steps in, and the 15-footer drops. 6 on the night for Quinn.
And that's what I'm talking about. Chris Quinn has now got to look for his shot. The more he becomes a threat, the more the Syracuse defense has to adjust, and the easier it might be for some of his teammates to get involved. But right now, he's got to have that scorer's mentality.
Quinn and McNamara both basically 40-minute guys for their respective teams. McNamara limping and grimacing a little bit after that terrific feed to McCroskey and the subsequent foul. A timeout on the floor. We'll check on the status of McNamara when we come back. For the Irish, they need more of this from Chris Quinn if they're going to get back into this game here in South Bend. Well, David, you talk about your home court advantage. Both Len and I have had the privilege of doing games in Piscataway, the home of the Scarlet Knights, the RAC as they call it, and that might be the toughest home court environment in the Big East.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the way the stands are configured, the fans are lively, and it goes by its reputation. But it only shows you, again, you look at the teams in the top 25, the Big East, obviously with those upper echelon teams, but that second tier are just as tough when they're playing at home. It's not an easy game out there, and people have to recognize that there are going to be upsets. I mentioned before, when the unbeaten list was about 6 or 8 long, I said probably by the end of January that list will be empty, only because of conference play.
Well, we'll see how Duke does against Maryland tonight on ESPN. That game beginning about half an hour from now. Louis McCroskey, the junior from the Bronx, just a 44% free throw shooter, but he knocks down the first.
Again, talking about the second-tier teams, how exciting, how intense will the Big East Championship tournament be in New York in March?
With no doubt bids on the line for the NCAA tournament, and I know you feel, you told me coming into the building tonight, that this league will not be able to get as many as 8 teams into the dance as Russell Carter knocks down the jumper.
I mean, it would be great, but, you know, I know what the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee says. There's no set limit or anything, but you know, when it comes down to it, the distribution of berths, of at-large berths, is going to be such that, you know, they're going to want a wide range and some diversity. So when you get to New York, you're one of those 12 teams. You're fighting, at least maybe that bottom 6 might be fighting for a spot in the tournament.
And again, last year, Notre Dame probably let an NCAA bid slip away by losing to Rutgers in the first round of the Big East Championship. Count the bucket for Carter, and he's going to the line as well.
So there's a guy we haven't heard of much, but he gets the ball from Quinn. Quinn starts to score. Defenses start to pay attention to him, and it creates opportunities for others, although I think Carter created that opportunity all by his lonesome.
And Len, the foul on Watkins, it's his 4th. Carter drops in the free throw. He's got a relatively quiet at times tonight, but he's got 15 points in this game. He is now the leading scorer in this game for Notre Dame.
Well, next possession, the question will be, does Notre Dame understand Watkins has 4, and will they attack the rim?
A block by Kurz, loose ball to the Irish.
You know Watkins has 4. You can't be afraid to take it all the way. But you can't take it all the way recklessly. It's got to go back to the ball movement that the Irish exhibited in the first half.
No Turin Francis in the middle right now for Notre Dame. Kurz and Zeller are the big guys. Falls is going to get a look here. A 3 for Falls, a 3-point game, a run for the Irish, and a timeout for the Orange.
That shot was made by the inexperience of Devendorf, who left his feet on the jump shooter. You know, you want to come out, you want to close, but you don't want to leave your feet, leave them wide open. Watch the pass. Back. Right there. There's the jump. Just a little ball fake gets Devendorf out of the play. You stay on your feet with Falls. You contest him with a hand in his face. But if you get out of the play and give him some daylight, he will burn you.
Colin Falls with his first 3 and his first points of the second half. Now 5 threes. 15 points to go with 8 assists for Falls here tonight. The Irish are on an 8-0 run here in South Bend. Well, we mentioned the big game coming up over on ESPN at the top of the hour as #1 Duke, led by Player of the Year candidate J.J. Redick, takes on the upset-minded Maryland Terrapins, who went into Cameron and dumped the Blue Devils last year. ACC Wednesday presented by Staples. That game also available on ESPN HD, all a part of Home Court Advantage Week, and few are better than Cameron Indoor Stadium. Devendorf for three. Big shot for Syracuse, and he is hollering at Colin Falls as he backs down the floor. And that's something I saw from him, Len, in a couple of games in New York back in November. He is pretty talking about there.
We got a horse game.
Yeah, Falls is going right back at him the best way he knows how.
We got a game of horse going between Falls and Devendorf.
6 threes for Falls. What a game here tonight in South Bend. Crowd is noisy now as they've been at any point of the night.
And Devendorf, again, young fella, can't get caught up in the mano-a-mano.
Yep.
You got to play to help your team win, but I guess he's going to do it anyway.
He's caught up in it, Len. Rebound to the Irish. Running the floor again is Kurz, and he's fouled by McNamara. Gets up and walks away. A little inadvertent contact with Nichols. That's about the third time tonight we've seen Kurz beat the Syracuse big guys down the floor.
It's been Kurz, it's been Zeller. And, you know, maybe there's a question, at least that Notre Dame recognized on conditioning. And it's McNamara who gets back quickly trying to help his teammates.
Kurz got up so quickly you thought there might be some trouble brewing, but he was just headed to the free throw line. A good sportsmanship as McNamara went over to him and patted him on the back as if to say, I had to do what I had to do, but I didn't mean to hurt you.
That's right. I mean, this is a game, and this is a game that's hotly contested. And these guys know each other. They know there's no malice out there. Just trying to win a ball game.
1 of 2 for Kurz. A 9-0 run for the Irish, or excuse me, they've traded 3, so a 12-3 run for the Irish to get them back within a deuce. McNamara out of bounds. It'll stay with Syracuse.
That was a risky pass by McNamara that time, and good anticipation by Carter. Irish playing man-to-man, you know, looking to really press her up.
And Quinn defending McNamara, who's got 7 threes in this game.
Good communication by Carter, who's guarding Nichols. He called out the screen, but nobody called out Roberts' screen on the right side.
Now a switch. Kurz on McNamara. 5 on the shot clock. Nichols floater drops in. 15 for Demetrius Nichols. Right at his season average. The lead back to 4 for the Orange. First points this half for Nichols. Falls. Kurz just held off Roberts behind him, but he missed another layup. And Kurz shaken up. A little bit late getting back into the play. Kurz has had 3 or 4 golden opportunities around the rim tonight. McNamara, did he slide that foot? Watkins blocked by Kurz. Roberts finds Watkins again, and a foul. The action getting frantic underneath both baskets.
And not only is it good board play, but terrific interior passing. You take a look right here. Roberts draws 2 defenders. Quinn standing behind Watkins. All he can do is foul. But boy, what presence of mind by Roberts to find Watkins. He knew he was double teamed and had to believe that his running partner was wide open.
Second foul on Quinn. Watkins makes the first. 1 of 2 out of bounds to Notre Dame. The Irish seem to have a habit of playing in a lot of close games and have generally done pretty well in those games, but not against Syracuse. The Orange have won 4 in a row here, 7 of 8 against Notre Dame overall, and just about every one of them has been a hotly contested game just like this one. Carter a little bit out of control on the drive, and the loose ball to Devendorf.
And Dan, to your point, even this year, Notre Dame, 7 games they've played decided by 7 points or less. They're 4-3. So they're very well experienced playing in close game situations, but experience doesn't mean as much as winning.
Devendorf, and he's fouled by Kurz, I believe. It will be Kurz, and that'll be number 4 on him. So Devendorf will be going to the line. When we come back to the Joyce Center after this, Devendorf, a freshman, who has been playing like a guy who's been around a long time. Very talented, very confident, very vocal here tonight in South Bend. The Orange lead by 5. All right, David, thank you. 5-point lead here for Syracuse, under 4 to go. Eric Devendorf, the freshman out of Bay City, Michigan, a 76% free throw shooter on the season. And you've got to think, Len, that Devendorf and McNamara, by far the two best free throw shooters Syracuse has. Some of the other guys aren't so hot. That they're going to have the ball in their hands a lot here the last 4 minutes.
Well, obviously they're going to have to, because also they've been a couple of the most efficient scorers. Obviously McNamara leading all scorers.
With that miss, Syracuse as a team 10 for 18 from the line tonight. McNamara has not been to the line tonight. 1 of 2 for Devendorf.
Well, Syracuse 66% on the year. Unfortunately, they got a lot of guys in the 40s and 50% range. A lot of key guys.
McNamara's about a 90% free throw shooter in his career. Kerr's inside, and this time he'll get the finish to make it a 4-point game.
Well, that's a good move by Mike Bray. That was a play coming out of the huddle, recognizing again Darrell Watkins with 4 fouls. Figured they test him right away.
Turin Francis remains on the bench out of the timeout. Luke Zeller and Rob Kurz are the big guys right now for the Irish. And no Russell Carter on the floor. Kyle McIlharney is in the game for Notre Dame as the Orange are going to milk the clock a little bit. Devendorf on the drive. Little head fake by McNamara. Tough 2 over Quinn. Rebound McIlharney.
Well, that time Chris Quinn stayed on his feet and he really bothered McNamara.
Kurz again quickly down the floor. Zeller blocked from behind by Devendorf. Big play for the freshman. Under 3 minutes to go as the Orange walk it up the floor. Quinn bothering McNamara, who finds Roberts.
And again, continued pressure on the ball handlers, and Jim Boeheim recognizes his offense is stagnant. Wants to try another plan.
Syracuse 1-0 in the league. Had a tough game against South Florida, beating them by 6. The Irish are 0-2 in a Big East play. And a good play here by Devendorf. Zeller had that mid-range jumper measured, and Devendorf got him from behind and did not commit a foul.
Yeah, and Zeller at 6'11", you can't fall in love with the jump shot. He had Watkins waiting for him. You put it on the floor, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, get in the paint, and challenge Watkins for a higher percentage shot.
Jim Boeheim diagramming what he wants to see offensively. Boeheim in his 30th season as head coach at his alma mater. He's won 716 games. And after this year, he will receive the John Wooden Legends of Coaching honor, won by Jim Calhoun last year. Of course, Calhoun and Boeheim going into the Hall of Fame together a year ago. They seem joined at the hip just about in every capacity, statistically, awards.
Well, certainly in the annals of the Big East.
Yeah. Shot clock goes under 10.
Look at Quinn denying McNamara, keeping the ball out of his hands, making somebody else beat you.
So it'll be Devendorf, and the foul committed by Zeller.
Good idea by Notre Dame. Keep the ball out of McNamara's hands, force somebody else to beat you, but you got that fearless freshman out there. Can't get it to McNamara. Devendorf says, hey, it's on me.
And again, Devendorf, a 76% free throw shooter, 1 of 2 moments ago, knocks down the first here. You used the word fearless a little bit earlier, and he sure has that look on his face. He doesn't seem bothered by anything. In fact, it seems to motivate him and pump him up a little bit.
Reminds you kind of like Jerry McNamara,
right.
maybe, when he was a freshman.
Terrence Roberts with the foul inside. Kurz will go to the line. On Roberts, that will be his 3rd.
And see, you can't be happy with those fouls. Those are reaching fouls. At this critical juncture, you got to make guys make shots. Can't put them on the line and let them get free ones. Make them earn it. You're Syracuse, you got a 6-point lead. Don't bail them out with a reaching foul.
Kurz, an 81% free throw shooter on the season. And Mike Bray's team, one of the things they do best is shoot free throws. 73% as a team, and late in games, even better than that. And now Kurz, after he made the first, is going to have to get a little bit of attention. He might have some blood on his jersey that they're going to have to tend to.
Looks like it's on his
Maybe
knee.
on his knee.
Yep.
And they're going to try to deal with it quickly enough so that Kurz can shoot the second free throw. Mike Bray was about ready to send Russell Carter into the game to take the free throw.
Now that looks kind of tight now, a little restrictive.
And now Kurz does have to leave the game, so Carter is going to have to check in with him to shoot the second free throw. Not easy being cold coming in off the bench in this kind of a situation.
Especially Kerr's 81% from the line. Carter 67% from the line.
And it may have cost the Irish a point. Out of bounds. It'll go to Syracuse. Kerrs will stay out, so this now a smaller lineup for Notre Dame. The first time all night they've really only had one big guy in the game.
Smaller but quicker, and now you got to pressure defensively.
The mismatch is Terrence Roberts being defended by Carter. Carter's giving up about 4 inches in that matchup.
Carter's also a wide body. If he can force Roberts out off the block, Roberts keeps trying to fight for post position as Syracuse just milks the clock. It's a high screen.
McNamara on the drive. Nichols wide open for 3. And it's tipped back in by Watkins, who's having a whale of the game for the Orange. He's got 10 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks tonight. Zeller for 3. Notre Dame needed that. McElharney, of all people, the offensive rebound. Tapped away. Quinn wide open for 3. In the Pittsburgh game, Len, Notre Dame came back from 9 down with 47 seconds left in regulation, forced overtime. Came back from 7 down with a minute and a half to go in first overtime, but then lost in second overtime. Can they come up with another big comeback effort here tonight?
Well, that's the power of the three-point shot. It's revolutionized the game, and it's given everybody a chance down the stretch.
Couple more great college basketball games coming up for you tonight right here on ESPN2. Home Court Advantage Week continues as we take you to Gallagher-Iba Arena in Stillwater as the Oklahoma State Cowboys take on the 11-1 Aggies of Texas A&M. And then at 11 Eastern tonight here on ESPN2, it's TCU at the Pit taking on New Mexico. The Lobos are unbeaten at home this year.
Talk about 2 tough places to play.
Yeah.
Visit there, you only want to visit once.
Now Syracuse has dominated this series in recent years. Again, just about every game has been close, but just about every game has resulted in a win for the Orange. Pressure by the Irish. And if you're Jim Boeheim, who would you rather have the basketball right now than number 3? 2 Notre Dame players collide and go down, but get up. And now part of the foul, and this is where the trouble starts if you're a Notre Dame fan, because Jerry McNamara is a 91% free throw shooter on the season.
And that's exactly what Syracuse wanted, to keep the ball in his hand. McNamara actually had a 2-on-1 break. Kerrs was the only one down there with Watkins bearing down on the left side. And it was just McNamara and Watkins against Kerrs. McNamara decided to pull it out.
First attempt at the line tonight for McNamara, no problem, as now Luke Zeller comes in and Russell Carter will go out for Notre Dame.
Again, to get another three-point shooter in the game.
And McNamara calmly knocks both of them down to make it a 6-point game. McCroskey for Watkins, now for the Orange.
Zeller, I'm sorry, Dan. Zeller came into this game shooting 37% from 3. We know he can hit it. Carter came in shooting under 30%. So you can see the high screens, the ability to spread the floor.
Quinn inside for Kerrs for 2. 4-point game. Just over a minute to go. And again, McNamara with the basketball. They got to get out of his hands somehow, or he's going to wind up back at the free throw line.
And it was the threat of the 3 that spread the floor for Notre Dame that time. Get the quick 2.
And Jim Burr with a foul call that will send Devendorf to the line. Not a great option for Notre Dame, but better than McNamara.
Number 15, Colin Falls, his 4th.
Number 4 on Colin Falls. Again, we mentioned that the Irish have played a very high number of close games the last couple of years and generally have done okay. But it seems, Len, and you and I do a lot of Big East games, when they need one the most, they don't seem to get that close game.
Well, absolutely, and that's what happened last year. You mentioned it before with regard to having to win to get into the NCAA tournament, and they just lost out in close game situations. You know, there comes a point in time you got to learn how to win. You got to get over that hump. You got to learn how to win when you need it.
Then Eric Devendorf with a career high 22 points on the night. Quinn with a deep 3. He's got a dozen, and the Irish are back within 3. 45 seconds to go.
And Dan, I don't know if it's, you know, just the fact that these guys are cool, calm, and collected, or they don't have the emotion. But, you know, Quinn hits that three, and his guys just calmly walk back to the bench instead of being excited. There's a good ball movement right now. This is what I thought Quinn should have been doing all second half, starting to look for his, you know, a little bit too unselfish. Because when he gets on, he can be just as unstoppable as McNamara.
Well, against Pittsburgh, he had 7 at halftime and wound up with 37 points in the double overtime game. At one point in the second half, Len, he scored 16 consecutive Notre Dame points. Tonight at halftime, he had just 2. He's got 10 in the second half.
When you got that capability, you've got to use it. I mean, looking at the array of talent around him, you know, there are some guys you're going to get started, you want to distribute, get them in the game, but at some point you have got to take over. Chris Quinn is an all-conference type talent, and he's got to show it every night.
The Irish out of timeouts. They do have the arrow. 2 free throws the rest of the way for the Orange, and expect to see McNamara and Devendorf at the line unless Notre Dame can figure out a way to get the ball out of their hands. Both teams have done an incredible job from three-point range tonight. Each team has hit 12 threes in this game.
Well, if I'm the Irish, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to zone and face guard Devendorf and McNamara, and to maybe even just leave one guy back. So if the ball gets behind me, you got one guy that can go and foul whoever he needs to foul. But get it out of their hands. There you go. You got to foul him. Oh, missed the opportunity.
Nichols got rid of it, finds McNamara, and again he's going to run around and milk this clock as much as he can until the Irish come and get him.
Well, Notre Dame's playing for the last possession. They feel that they can make a stop here. I don't know if I had the chance to foul somebody, I would have put them on the line, particularly.
You can see the difference, 9 or 10 seconds between the game clock and the shot clock, and McNamara is going to use every second he can. The scoop will go. What a play by Jerry McNamara. Now the Irish need a quick score and then some. Quinn misses the 3. Roberts has it, and Syracuse is going to get out of here with a victory. It looks like down to 4.5 seconds to go. Jerry McNamara with his first 2-point field goal of the night on a remarkable scoop shot to give Syracuse a 5-point lead.
Well, at the beginning of the telecast, I talked about Jerry McNamara being Mr. Orange basketball, and he's a senior, leader of this team, more than willing to take the shot that seals it.
Now Nichols at the line for Syracuse. McNamara a 25-point game. 7 threes, that scoop shot, a couple of free throws. And the Orange are going to win their 11th in a row and go to 14-2 on the season, 2-0 in the Big East. Notre Dame will drop to 9-5 and an ominous 0-3 in Big East play. Quinn's 3 at the buzzer won't go, and the Syracuse Orange get out of here with their 5th consecutive win on this floor, 88-82. Devendorf was great, Nichols was great, McNamara was even better than that.
Well, in their first true road game, Syracuse comes through and overcomes some tough odds here. Terrific shooting by Jerry McNamara, but also the young fella Devendorf starting to emerge as the secondary scorer for this team. For Notre Dame, you know, you're 0-3 in the conference. That's a deep hole that you've got to dig out of. You know, this is a team that's close, oh so close, but they've got to find a way to get over the hump.
Notre Dame has lost their Big East games by 3, 6, and again 6 here tonight as the Orange beat the Irish 88-82. Here at the Joyce Center in South Bend. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Len Elmore and our entire ESPN2 crew, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks for watching here tonight, and now we'll send it back to the studio and rejoin David Amber.
All right, thanks a lot. Jim, what is it about this place? You guys have come in tough games, but you've been able to prevail, a 5th win in a row.
The guy right over there next to you, the guy standing next to you, he plays great out here. He's always played great here every time we've come in here. And I thought our team played better. We didn't do much defensively the first half, but the second half, we did a better job on the defensive end. And our freshman, Eric Devendorf, stepped up tonight. he really stepped up big tonight.
Well, he certainly did, and it looked as though in the second half you decided you were going to put the ball in both Jerry McNamara's and Devendorf's hands to get it done. They not only got it done, but they made other guys better.
Yeah, I think they did, and Demetrius did a great job in the first half, and then he got in foul trouble, but everybody else picked him up, and our big guys played well defensively, which was key, I thought, for the game. We knew we could score points, but we knew they would score points. They're a good offensive team, but we felt this would be a tough game, our first road game in the league, and it's always tough in this league. They lost an double overtime game at Pittsburgh, 2 tough road games. But that's the way this league is. You got to take a win whenever you can get it, and we're happy to get this one.
Well, before I talk to Jerry, considering the schedule upcoming, it's a pretty good cushion for you.
We got a lot of tough. All I know is I look at our schedule and there's nothing easy left. So we're going to just have more of these games, one right after the other.
Congratulations, a big win. Jerry McNamara, this is your team now, man. You spent time with Carmelo Anthony, Hakeem Warwick. They put the ball in your hands, and you obviously delivered tonight.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to play with some great players, Carmelo and Hakeem being 2 of them, and we just wanted to, I played well here since I've been a freshman as a team. Syracuse has won down here, and I didn't want to stop that. This is my last year and the last time I'd play here, so I'm glad we went out on a win.
Well, 25 points. Congratulations on a terrific win.
Thank you very much.
David, back to you.